Hello and welcome to a quick introduction of master data management and Talend's unified platform. Talend defines master data management as the practice of cleansing, rationalizing, and integrating data across the system into a system of record for the core business activity. Our distinction at Talend is the difference is we don't just rationalize. We're not just providing matching and merging and rationalization of your data, but we're also providing data quality for the cleansing. We're giving hundreds of components for data integration, whether it's through a data integration or an application integration pattern. Talend will support any one of those for you in your MDM projects. We feel at Talend that it's a matter of simple math to make an MDM project successful, and it requires the unified platform to also make you successful in your MDM journey. So, everything you see on the screen, from data integration to business process management, all these functions, all these features are required to make MDM successful. It's not a matter of just matching and merging, but it's a matter of providing data quality so that your data is trusted, doing integration, whether it's real-time or batch, application integration versus data integration, having a dynamic data model so that you can provide event-driven management of your data governance processes and policies. So it's a very wide range of functionality and features that you need to be successful. And with Talend MDM's platform and with Talend's unified platform, we provide those things to you. What are your business requirements for Talend, for MDM? What are your current business environment demands? Do you need to get things out faster, your products or services to customers? How do you serve your customers better? Do you need to pull data from your ERPs, your CRM, your Salesforce, all into a single call center application so that when a customer calls in, is it more satisfying? Do you have all the information for your call center people to give better information and resolve your customers' issues? What are you trying to do with MDM or with an integrated platform like Talend? MDM brings business value in many different areas. Here's 4 different high-level use cases that we talk to and how we can help solve these issues. Whether you're trying to increase your revenue and marketing efficiencies, streamlining operations, mitigate risk and fraud, and improve customer communications, which I just talked about before. Mitigate risk and fraud. How do you identify potential fraud people within your database of customers or accounts? How are you streamlining your operations, creating a single point of invoice or collections? How do you know what those customers look like? So what is your business case? So within this demo, a typical demo scenario that we'll follow is we'll have data sources that we need to profile to understand and discover what are the issues with the data. Once we know those, we'll provide some integration processes that do cleansing, and then we'll load that data into the MDM where we can then govern the data so we can resolve duplicates. We can put governance around things such as account names or priority statuses, things like that you don't want anybody to be able to change within your applications, but you want a data steward or data owner to provide that governance. And then once you have this set up, we'll provide access within this demo, show how you can provide real-time web services of your data. So today within the demo, we'll demonstrate how we're going to, for this D-Star Corporation, we're going to build a master of accounts and synchronize with Salesforce. We have legacy files, we have a CRM database, as well as Salesforce data. So we want to first standardize the locations using address cleansing tools. We want to cleanse the account attributes such as phone number. Then we want to identify duplicates to be manually resolved and resolve some of those within the demo, and then perform data migration synchronization out to these systems, and then provide application integration from the MDM to SFA and CRM. So as I make updates in the MDM, they're automatically updated out to the applications, and then implement some governance on the account name, and essentially building a master of accounts and syncing with Salesforce.com. So first, with the MDM and the demonstration, we'll see these 5 key features: the data model, profiling, standardization, enriching, data application integration, and stewardship and workflow. First, the data model. We'll show how flexible the data model is with XML-based business rules and validation, rules-based access control. The benefits are very clear. It's a dynamic data model, allows you to model and master any domain you want. We don't restrict you to anything such as customer or just product and then have to customize everything else. We provide you the ability to import a model, build a model, and master those entities. Profiling, and this is where we're going to get started into the demonstration after this slide. It's a key feature, over 100 pre-configured indicators. It's intuitive, valuable reports, auto-create quality improvement jobs, and then we provide, this will provide a lot of insight to how we want to build and integrate our data, load our data, helps us analyze and understand what models to start with our MDM journey. So before starting to build your model or any type of integration processes, you need to understand your data first. So we have three different data sources in this scenario that we are demonstrating that we want to synchronize to Salesforce. Salesforce already has some accounts in it. We have a flat file with some data in it, as well as we have a database called D-Star CRM account that has some data in it that we want to bring all this data together, rationalize it, cleanse it, and then integrate it into the MDM, and then ultimately synchronize that back out. So to do this, to understand your data better, you need to go into what we call our talent profiling tool and build some basic profiles. So this graph shows me kind of the breakdown of the data. The file A1 or 1A has more data than the rest. Salesforce and CRM are about equal for the volume. And then I can start breaking down the data and the value, how many blanks or nulls, duplicates. So for the account name here, I have three different duplicates, but they're all populated. There's no nulls or blanks. Addresses, I have some nulls, so that's going to cause some problems. With the city, there are no nulls or blanks. So with the demographic information, I'm starting to see some patterns. The state code has mostly 2 characters, but there is a 1 character. But there are no blanks or nulls, just some invalid patterns. Here is postal code, so I can see that I have a wide variety of postal code patterns. So I definitely need to do some address validation. This report tells me, based on some indicators and pattern matching, how many are invalid postal codes. So to build this, you go into the studio and you go to the profiling perspective and you build a basic column analysis. So here is the column analysis on the data that has been loaded into the just a plain table, relational database table. I selected some indicators for all my attributes. So here are the attributes that I'm looking at, mostly demographic information that I'm going to use for matching and cleansing and rationalizing. And then these check marks tell me which indicators I've selected. So blanks and nulls are important, duplicates on the account name, postal codes, things like that. So it's very quick and easy to build these out. We have pattern checks as well. So out of the box, there's about 150 to 200 different pattern checks. So I can check for US zip code, which I've done. I can check for different phone number patterns to make sure they're valid. I can check email addresses, which I'm doing as well. So this is very quick and easy. Once you build the analysis in here and it provides the information you need, you can run the analysis in here and see the results directly in this page, or you can publish them out to the DQ portal, which I was showing you just a minute ago. Once you have this done, you can go into the MDM tool and start modeling your database or your data model for what you want to master. So we're going to log in here as Jennifer, who is a general manager. So there's role-based access. This role that's assigned to Jennifer has full access to the MDM. So she'll have access to all the menu items on the left, so all the governing type of capabilities, data stewardship to resolve duplicates and data issues, workflow for the business process management. She can view data. She has access to multiple data models or multiple domains, so she can see customer and as well as a domain just for D star for her corporation, most likely reference data or employee information maybe. If you go into here, you can start looking at the data model that's been defined for this demonstration. So it's a typical, very generic account data model. So we have account name, company name, ID. We have an MDM ID. You can store pictures. We have lookups to other list of values for foreign key type relationships. If you need them, we can have multiple locations. So to build this data model and deploy it out to the MDM web tool, it's very simple. You go into the MDM perspective and you start building out a data model within the data model folder within the MDM tool. So here is the account data model. So data models within our MDM can be considered your domain. They could be considered. They could be also considered just an entity or the actual object that you want to master. So here I have account in a separate data model, and I have customer in another data model. Those could all be in one data model. We don't care how you model your data. It's what works best for you. Best practice is to break it out into a single domain. But with Talend, you can master as many domains as you want. You can have them in different data models. It does not matter. It's not how we price our solution for you. So with the account, you can see here's all the attributes you saw on the main screen. I have what's called complex types defined for person and address. So here's my person information. My address information is in a relationship to locations so that I can master locations separately and then build a relationship to the account. So and accounts can have one-to-many locations assigned to them. Same with things like the source information, which is building out my cross-reference. So this is just a quick example of how you build out these data models. Alright, so we've shown you some data modeling, data profiling. Within the profiling, we covered the intuitive graphical tool quickly. We showed you how you can build and expand custom indicators and patterns. We can do auto-generation of jobs and indicators and patterns configuration. So next we want to talk about the standard, enrich, and resolve features and capabilities. Within Talend's data integration and data quality, we give you the ability to parse, standardize, and validate. Do simple matching and survivorship, whether it's auto survivorship or manual resolution. We'll show in the demonstration how you can manually resolve data within the MDM tool. This provides a lot of different benefits, the ability to identify and resolve duplicates in your master data, and then integrate your master data processes. So we provide a lot of different cleansing tools and capabilities, like we said. They're very easy to build and show how these duplicates are resolved or identified, and then give you human tools on the web tool to build those capabilities out with the Data Stewardship Council. Within standardizing, we'll talk about this quickly as well in the demonstration, you have the name and address standardization tool. So this is a simple example of Jack Smith and John Smith with very different addresses. New York, Manhattan, zip codes are both a little messed up. Country's blank in one and has USA in the other. So if you do some basic standardization and change Jack to John, which is a common nickname for John is Jack, and you standardize the address and get a standard address of 998 Avenue of Americas in New York with a proper zip code, you will definitely get a link with these a lot easier and have to do less matching across the entire process. So let's go now back to the demonstration and show how that would work. So now within the data integration perspective, we'll show you some of the data cleansing and rationalization processes that are around the account demo that we're showing today. So within the left pane here is a repository of all the jobs or processes that we've made. Within this view, you build out your web services, your WSDLs, as well as the processes that are associated to those WSDLs, as well as you build your ETL or data integration perspective type processes. So first we need to match and load our data, and based on our requirements we need to standardize the location information first that comes with our account data. So we're going to open a quick process. This process is using metadata on connections. So we have connections to the 3 different sources here. We're uniting into a single flow using some transformations to get the data to match the same formats. And then we're doing some standardization with the country code to 3 characters, sending it through an address standardization tool, and then putting that out to a file to be used for our matching process. Very simple process, very common process though. So what I want to do is get my addresses to be as unique, as clean, and have as much uniqueness as possible to the data, so that I'm not trying to do a lot of fuzzy matching on address. I'm doing more exact matches on address because it's been standardized. You can do enrichment of data, so maybe if you have outside sources like DMB or IMS or HMS data, you can pull that data into the process as well and enrich that and provide IDs to the locations, which then would ultimately help in your matching process as well, which is going to go out to this file. So once you have data cleansed in a single file, which would be something like this file here, you can now start building out what we call the match process. We give you easy to use wizards to build this match process out. And within these wizards, we try to provide an easy to use interface that allows you to manipulate the matching process to try to get the best matches and groups possible without going too far and matching things that maybe shouldn't match. So here's an easy to read graph that shows me I have 2 groups of 2 records matching and 1 group of 3 records matching. I can indicate or hide anything less than 2, so I'm going to refresh and we'll see only those records in the view, as you can see. So if I search for that blue record there, I can see it's this Castle Realty, so there's a lot of differences here in the name, but my address is the same. If I have other information I want to add into this process, I can do so, such as maybe I want to add the mobile phone or the office phone number of the contact to help match some of these. So I'll add the contact phone, do some matching algorithm on it so it's maybe a little bit different. You can add things and hit refresh and see how it impacts your data. So by adding the mobile phone, I actually took out the 3 record match group that I have. Now I only have the 2 record. So that probably was not a good change to make. Maybe I want to add more confidence or less confidence to the name itself. And it doesn't make much change. So you can do this do this until you're happy with your match groups. And once you are, you take the configuration of this and build it into a larger process that will then ultimately load the data into your MDM, something like this, that will then update the data within your MDM. So here's the address cleansing process, loading the locations and standardizing and mastering those, and then doing the match group on the account result here to load the data into the MDM and the Data Stewardship Council. We give you multiple ways of running things like this in production. So if you switch over, we have what's called the Talend Administrative Council, where you can define ETL as well as services to be run in a production environment. So I've identified a couple processes that I need to run to load the MDM. 1 to do the matching and loading the MDM, and then 2 jobs to synchronize the data back out to my systems. So I would actually want to run this in what's called an execution plan. This ties processes together. This is all available within our data integration and Talend Administrative Council. It gives you a single place to monitor all of your data integration needs that you have using Talend. So I will start this process, which is going to load the data into the MDM and get the data synchronized out to Salesforce.com and the CRM once it's been loaded and mastered in the MDM system. So there are a lot of different capabilities in here. You can monitor the servers that you have for runtimes, both ESB as well as what we call our job servers. You can define services out on here, so both routes as well as services can be defined and deployed to your runtimes from this single console. Once they're running, the services have been deployed. You can monitor their health as far as how they're running. You can see if they're up or not. So for example, I have one particular one service that is down right now, but two that are up and running. So you can see there's a lot of different capabilities. You can monitor DI jobs from this view as well. So we call this the Talent Administrative Console. So it is the single place to monitor all the activity on the Talent Unified platform, and it doesn't matter what type of process it is that you're trying to monitor. So here's an example of a data integration component or process, which is the one running right now that we're monitoring. So I can see what it's doing, when it's doing it. If we look at other past runs of this job, you'll see components and how long certain components like the address validation is taking versus the loading or the extracting from Salesforce and so on and so forth. So there's a lot of monitoring that you can do within this this console here. So now what we've done is we've loaded the data, we've done some cleansing processes, and now we're loading the data into the MDM tool itself. So if we refresh this screen, we'll see some data now being populated in our account entity within the MDM. So we're just looking at the first record here, Future Bright. I can see from the way I've modeled my data, it's only in Salesforce.com right now. It's not going to be synchronized out to the CRM table. I also can see the addresses or the locations related to this particular account as well. I have no contact information on this record. If I look at another record that I know is in more than one source, I can see that this particular record right now is only in CRM. It's because the process is not done running yet, but if we were to update this, eventually it'll show the record in Salesforce.com. So once the process is updated, we'll get more information about this. We can go look at other reference data or locations, for example, that we're mastering. So here we'll take a look at locations, and within this view we have what's called a smart view. This gives you the ability to customize your views within the MDM tool. You can see a simple map here that you can mouse over and see the information for this particular location. You can drill into the map by clicking on the link and going further into the process itself. We're going to go back to the Talent Administrative Console and see if the execution plan is completed yet. So it looks like it's still doing some work on the loading. Also within the Talent Administration Console, we give you the process, the ability to execute and do basic scheduling capabilities. So here on this particular job, which is going to be monitoring my updates on the Data Stewardship Council, I have scheduled a trigger to run every 5 seconds or so. You can run things on time or interval or trigger based. So we could do a full cron schedule. Whoops. So if you go down here, you have a simple trigger, which this one is. It's running every 5 seconds. You can do a cron trigger as well. So cron is basically a calendar-based schedule. However, it doesn't have things like holiday schedules or things like that, but you can definitely work some triggers into that process as well around timing. And then a file trigger, so if a file is present, it will run. So with that, we'll go back into the MDM and go back to accounts. and we'll also talk about the integration. So using the data integration components, we've also synchronized all this data out to the MDM, into the MDM, and then back out to Salesforce. Now Salesforce has a complete view of the data within the MDM. As you can see now, we have about 81 different records out here, so the data has expanded, has grown, and because we've taken the data from the file, from CRM, and synchronized the unique records out to Salesforce. Okay, so to review what we have seen so far is leveraging MDM components to load data directly into the MDM itself. So it's a very rapid automated data integration process for final validation of the data itself, loading the MDM, identifying duplicates. The access we'll cover at the end and showing how quickly and easy it is to build access to your MDM data or any other data that you need to service enable through designing WSDLs and contracts, doing the XML mapping and transformation capabilities, and then implementing and using standards across the Talend components. This is all built and then easily tested within the Talend Unified platform, and we'll show that briefly at the end. So now we'll cover some stewardship and workflow capabilities within the MDM. While we're doing these stewardship and workflow capabilities, the data is going to be synchronized back out to the Salesforce and CRM using those data application or data access implementations that we just covered. So first we're going to cover the governance processes within the MDM tool itself. We'll show some workflow capabilities as well. And then from there, we'll demonstrate how, after the workflow works and has been integrated through the MDM tool, it gets automatically updated and synchronized out to your applications. So back in the MDM tool, we're going to do some quick stewardship and governance. First, we'll start out by doing some data governance. This is where we give you a manual tool to do data resolution or rationalizing your duplicates. This is what's called the Data Stewardship Council, and this is where I will take data that's been identified as duplicates and build my master record manually. As a very quick and easy tool to use, we provide tag techniques to tag the tasks with certain names so it's easier to find them. And it's all role-based, task-based type processing. So we're going to take a look at XYZ Inc. and see what data is being duplicated here. So as you can see, we have some data here that's been duplicated across the 3 different systems. So XYZ it exists in our Salesforce CRM and our file. The file has the most complete information for contact information. Salesforce is missing things like the industry is other, so we're going to take sales from one of the other systems and build this, what we call our master record on the left-hand side, which is here is what's going to be loaded into the MDM tool itself. So once we save this record, the record itself goes into resolve state, and I have a process running to look for any new resolved records and load those into my MDM. So once I have the data loaded into the MDM, I can view it in here. So I'm going to change my search criteria from ID to company name and just do XYZ and do a search, and I'll come up with the record that was just loaded. We'll see it's loaded here at 12:02, which matches my server time. I have things like my task ID, so I can link back to the record in the Data Stewardship Council and see how the data was pulled together. I can see from my cross-reference the data exists in 3 different systems. If I wanted to go see if the data has been synchronized, within this demonstration I have the MDM ID being put into the system itself. So let's go do a quick refresh, scroll down, And there's XYZ. So now we should see the MDM ID is 5638. So that matches what's in my Salesforce or in my MDM system, 5638. If I go look and refresh my CRM table by refreshing the query, I'll see that I have records in here as well. 5638 has been identified for this particular record, XYZ, within my CRM. So now my systems are all in sync using the MDM tool itself. Next, I want to demonstrate some easy governance process, or some basic data governance process that you can implement. I'll show you the actual workflow from the MDM perspective. So here on the MDM, we've created a workflow process called a company company name request change. So in here, and I'll open in the FullMDMFlow here tool in a second, as it loads all the information about the workflow. So what we have is we're giving our users the ability to make a name change to the account, which is going to be a pretty important change made for the data itself, because it's what governs all the reports are based on the company name. So we don't want to let anybody change the company name. So we're giving users without administrative rights to request a name change, and then a manager can review and approve it, and based on approval or reject, it will be updated in the MDM, and then email notifications for reject and approval will be sent. If they don't meet it or can't do it in a timely manner, it'll go to their manager or be escalated and then sent out to the corresponding flow based on what the manager does. So within the MDM tool, we'll show you how this is rendered. We're going to log out and log in as Frank, who is a regional manager who doesn't have access to change these types of things. So Frank can browse records, but he has much less capabilities. You'll see that he can only see accounts. He can't see the locations or other type of entities and directly query those types of records. So you can see also that Frank cannot change the company name within here at all. So what we do is we've given him access to this process that we just showed you, the workflow, and he can request future right company name to be changed through a workflow process. And we'll go to that here in a second. Next, we're going to do two so we can show you the escalation process. So within here, he's going to change XYZ as well. And you can see he has a couple different workflows available to him. He can change the priority as well, which he does not have access to. So all this access is based, again, on the role and then attribute and entity level access controls within the workflow. Now that we have those, he can go into the Governance tab and view the workflows, and he can change the name in here, so he can put what he wants, so ABC Inc., and give a message to the manager, and then submit the change. And once that's done, you can go to the next one, which I submitted ABC or XYZ twice by accident, so I'm just going to go to Future Bright and say dim. Not so bright. He's not happy with him, so he's making a point, but of course this one will probably be rejected. Once this is submitted, you can go into the back in as Jennifer, who is Frank's manager, to approve or reject these flows. So when Jennifer logs in, you'll see right away on her welcome screen she has two workflows waiting for her. So we'll go to the second one, which is XYZ ABC, and it's a merger. So yes, maybe she reviews it, she agrees it is a merger, or she knows it happened, so she's approving the change, and it's going to go ahead and add ABC to the name. From here, she can go open the record and look at the data. She can see that ABC XYZ, XYZ ABC exists. We have full audit capabilities within our tool. So you just click on the journal from a record or from the browse data view and search on a particular record that you want, and you'll see that ABC exists in here. And you could see the full history. I can tell that from some abbreviations that the process for data stewardship create is how this record was created in the MDM. I can see Frank did a workflow request change and that Jennifer approved it. And then I can log or open up Jennifer's approved change in the audit and see exactly what changed. Now we have real-time services running on the ESB, Talend's ESB, that's publishing these changes out to a queue, and that's how this data is getting synchronized into the system, corresponding applications. So if we refresh this, we'll see that ABC has been added to XYZ ABC Inc. within Salesforce. If we go into the database, you'll see that it's been added here as well. So this is all being done through our web access process and through what's called a mediation or a route on the MDM or on the Talend ESB. So this is the route that's actually running on the ESB. It's been deployed and is running and waiting for messages to come to a queue, and then using the message from the queue. It's just a simple cross-reference in the MDM ID. It does a lookup back on the MDM to get all the information about that count, and then sends it out to these three flows or these three routes. These could be independent routes deployed on separate routes and have separate queues to build out HA and message persistence. Very easy to do within the Talend ESB components. And then this goes through and updates CRM if it exists. If it doesn't exist, it just drops it through one of these filters, because the business rule was to only update data from CRM, not add it through this process. But Salesforce is an update and an insert. So using the message router, it determines whether the Salesforce ID exists or not. If it exists, it does an update to the existing record in Salesforce. If it doesn't, it inserts it and then communicates that new Salesforce record back to the MDM with the appropriate information. And then it also drops a full XML representation of the account from the MDM to a file drop for that A1 file system to pick up and update it as well. So that really concludes the demonstration of Talend's MDM. So with Talend's unique integration solution, you're getting best-of-breed solutions across all these types of capabilities. You're getting big data capabilities, data quality capabilities, data integration for ETL type and data migration synchronization projects. The full MDM product suite includes all of these as well as the ESB and BPM. The ESB is providing a full ESB runtime environment and mediation capabilities as well as web service access controls. And the BPM gives you a full business process management. And with this demonstration, I showed how the BPM works within the MDM easily, but it can also work outside of the MDM with the ESB providing services to provide data services and data access across your applications. Within the Talend Unified platform, we have a unified studio. I showed you how we built all these processes within one tool set, a unified repository to track and manage all the metadata, and a single deployment location to manage all the deployments, whether it's services out to the ESB runtime or through the DI processes out to our job servers that can then be run anywhere, and a single execution process and monitoring within the Talend Administrative Console. All this helps you reduce your cost, eliminate risk, reuse the skills across your teams, and gives you better economy of scale and incremental adoption. So with best of breed, Talend Unified Platform truly equals a unique integration solution. So thank you very much. I hope you enjoyed the demo.